Good morning. Good morning. It's Lisa Loring. Happy first day of October. Numerology on today's date turns out to be a 14, which is 1 and 4 equals 5. Yes, it does equal 5. Don't you love my math? I have to take a nursing test later on. Let's hope my math improves between now and 10 o'clock Eastern time. At any rate, math was never my strong suit, but other things are, and that's cool, right? And that was definitely the message. I'm sorry, I've got like cat hair or something like that. That was definitely the message that I was channeling as I got up this morning. Speaking of cat, then anyway, I'm gonna leave it alone. It was about like focusing on what's working. This is actually a theme that I started really emphasizing on Sunday with a couple with whom I do meditation. And I talk about it a lot, I think, but I also believe that it's really important for us to do that now in our evolutionary state as a race, as a species. Yes, because actually there's more good stuff going on than bad stuff in truth. So to that point, otherwise we wouldn't be as evolved as we are. But to that point, focusing on what's not actually working has also to do with has a tremendous amount to do with why we've gotten where we are. Because if you see things that are wrong, then you fix them, and that improves things, and you achieve things, and you get to the next level, and you retool them. But continuing to focus on what's wrong in order to move ahead is actually counterintuitive. I just want to say that. So focus on what's working and expand upon that and build upon that, a foundation. And then let's see where we go. So the cards I'm going to work with today are the Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle. I haven't worked with the fairies today, but they came up really strongly in my meditation, and I love her hand. October is such a fairy month. There's actually a lot of great Wiccan festivals in the month of October. And so I guess I'm really drawn to that and the earthiness of the fairies today. But I will continue to work with the Gilded Tarot, although I said I was going to work with the Shadowscapes. But we will do the Gilded. We will do the Gilded today. And welcome to anyone who's joining me this morning. I welcome your input. And if you have a question, I'm happy to pull a card for you at the end of the reading. This is a general reading for all zodiac signs for Monday, October 1st. And the themes that come through, that have been coming through, I'd like us to continue working with. We've got a card that's already wanting to come through, and that's the King of Cups. He's really wanting to push his way out there. Hello, King of Cups. I love the King of Cups. I like him really a lot in the Doreen Virtue deck that I worked with a couple of days ago. But what I love about, which is interesting, the King of Cups would be normally depicted by Neptune, but we have Saturn really featured very strongly here. And I think that has a lot to do with the Venus square to Pluto today. And Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is right there as well. So Saturn is stability, and I think probably the depiction of Saturn in this card, what it's coming up for me is that, this is actually like Saturn depicts like mastery and having, restraint and control over things. So whereas the King of Cups, his throne is on a body of water. You see that he's actually on the water. He's like walking on water. He's like Jesus, right? This is like Jesus. And his feet are on the water, but he's not in the water. And he's close enough to land that if he wants to step off, he certainly can, right? And instead of being like super watery like Neptune is, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, which is the most watery of all the water signs. This one actually denotes that, we have mastery of our emotions, and we utilize our emotions for intelligent and useful purposes. That's what Saturn's all about. That's what Capricorn's all about, like being intelligent, being useful. And that Capricornian theme is, even though it's not like the moon hasn't moved to Capricorn yet, it's in Scorpio, which is another water sign. The that Capricornian, I'm feeling it already. I kind of feel things a little in advance, so that may not be you, but you might find yourself, feeling a little driven and a little like you actually have things, in good balance. And I think that this card presents a wonderful and lovely balance. So anyway, that's a little bit about that card. And just some of the stuff I'm channeling straight out the gate on that beautiful King of Cups. And I love that there's a lot, he's wearing red as opposed to just being like super watery and blue, because again, there's, emotions can be, a lot of where we operate from should be from our emotions. And when I was doing my meditation, the moon card was really showing. I didn't have the deck out, but it was like sitting over there and I could see the moon card. And so the emotional component is really strong. This card's also wanting to come out. It's not, oh, the hanging man, the hanging man. So we're in that place of changing our perspectives, considering things differently, after we've been through a great trial. And that's the central card of our reading. The hanging man, we'll see how he plays out and what are we considering. Maybe we're changing our perspectives on our emotions. Maybe we're needing to make sure we, take the time before expressing ourselves in this, given the energies of today. Venus square Pluto is a very transformative energy. The sun is also in the sign of Libra right now, inviting us to create that balance in the face of transformation, in the face of things, the darkness, which is Pluto. And we've got another card coming out, which is the Ten of Pentacles. So again, this is also a theme. Like, we have wonderful energies around us and that are very abundant. And another thing that came up prior to my meditation was, I was working with the power of the East, and I had this imagination of all these like golden, and I said in my calling upon the medicine of the power of the East, I was thinking about, I was imagining this sun shining into the dark, Pluto, it's the farthest planet in our solar system. And in order to transform, like, help us step on, let the sun as it rises in the east illuminate the golden pennies. And I said golden pennies, but this was actually this imagination, all of these golden pennies that create a path for us to walk, that's not necessarily only financial gain. This is abundance on every level that's manifesting on this plane right now in the physical. The pentacle sign, the pentacle suit in the tarot is about what's happening in the 3D, like on this plane, like in front of us, in our graspable and tangible reality. So that could mean not only money, it's anything you value. It's a path forward toward, independence, for instance, toward more freedom, whatever that means for you. And a path forward towards whatever your dreams are. Maybe it's the solidity, and it's a lot of people say, it's all well and good to be so in love with, and in touch with spirit, but sometimes you just need somebody to hold you at night, and you want to be able to have those kinds of relationships. So the Ten of Pentacles really is this epitome of abundance on every level, and things that we value. And it may be not just material things, but it could be the relationships. It could be, richness in a career, or something in which you invest yourself, a physical way in which you express yourself. The arts are coming up a lot right now, particularly with Venus in her home sign of Libra. And so the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Swords. Hello, Ace of Swords. What else is peeking under here? We've also got the High Priestess card. These are some very powerful cards. Three of Swords, ships coming in. And the Lover's card is here. So a card of decisions, maybe about relationships. The Lover's card is a doorway to something, anything that you invest yourself and you're in love with. But there is the potential of a Ten of Swords thing. But this is about letting things go. We've been through this Ten of Swords energy. And underneath the Ten of Swords is the world. So an abundance. Oh my God. Nine of Cups. Two of Pentacles, like, we have a lot of stuff going on here. Yeah, so I'm gonna let it stop like at the 9 in the world, because this is, again, just that kind of like worry energy that is, all the worry energy that we've done is really just not anything in which we need to invest ourselves anymore. We've already felt the pain, and it's fine to feel the pain, but to remember that you actually are on top of the world. This woman is extremely skilled. She's got baton, she's on one leg, she's standing on top of a very high column. She's extremely skilled, and um, she knows a lot about the world, you know? So we've got some really cool cards here. So let's angle the camera down so you see more of them and not of me. Again, the King of Cups is about, having mastery over emotions, being in an extreme place of creativity. Sorry, I'm a little tippy there. He's creativity on every level, tapping into his creative juices. And those definitely are usually emotionally driven, which is why I really love that he's depicted in red and not in blue. Because, your emotions can be a real driving source of passion, a wellspring of abundance in and of itself, right? From this kind of passion, this is where you get the abundance, the physical abundance, the things that you can touch and feel and taste, and Libra is all Venus and Libra is all about this. Venus and Libra is all about love, and that Lover's card came up. And I think our relationships, no matter what, love comes, what do you love doesn't necessarily mean a partnership in a romantic sense. It's anything in which you invest yourself on a daily basis in a meaningful way, from which you both derive enjoyment, you feel accomplished, and nourishes you back almost without effort. And it's some kind of reciprocal relationship in which both parties are getting what they need. And sometimes that gets out of balance, right? And we have to fix that. And because things aren't just all, wine and roses all the time. But the King of Cups is here to show us that we've invested ourselves wisely, and we've gotten really well. We've come along really, really well to the point where we've got this kind of abundance in our lives. We just have, we look at in every box, and it's like, a different box has more and more stuff in it. And that's about focusing on the good, right? You started this conversation off with like focusing on the good. We are in a number 5 day in terms of the numerology on the date 2019 10th month, and the first day adds up to a 1, and it's up to a 14, which gives us a 5, which is a day of transformation and change. Venus squaring Pluto is certainly transformation and change on a physical level, changing our perspectives on what it is that we love and how we're going to go about getting that, right? Being asked to do that. The Ace of Swords is here to provide ideas about that. The sword is pointing in a particular direction. These are ideas from the heavens that are coming directly down from the heavens, pointing down towards us. Again, this is moving towards the physical, not the etheric. The High Priestess is behind that Ace of Swords. Talk about, coming from the divine. This is coming from the Akashic records. We are actually right now in a stage where our DNA is actually being, if we allow it, if we do those shifts and kind of do the counterintuitive thing, such as focus on what is good rather than what isn't working, building upon the foundation and radiating out from places that are working, the places that make us feel good, rather than continuing to drive in shitty like situations that just don't work. Or just blessing those situations. You don't even have to be as like negative as I just was. Just blessing those situations and move on. Admire them for what did work about them and move on, but you don't need to continue trying to make a square peg fit in the round hole. And here is that card of moving on to even greater abundance, such as what we're seeing in this Lover's card. I told you guys last week, the Lover's card is, where is that playfulness? See those dolphins in the back? If you are not in a state of bliss, if you are not being held by the relationships in your life and getting, receiving this kind of bliss, this kind of amazingness, the time is, there's no reason for you to be in it, because we're being actually held by the universe. The universe is not going to let you fall. It's actually in your best, always operating in your best interest. So if end what's ending, let it end. Own the world. Be in abundance. Make a decision. Just any decision that you make is actually going to be fine. The universe is not going to let you fall. Okay? And this guy's dangling in thin air. So what? You did some stuff in the past that it doesn't mean you need to continue to make those same mistakes and stay chained up. You can actually move on and recognize, work from the places that are good. Even the chains on here on this Ace of Swords, it's cut. The Ace of Swords is so strong. All the ideas that you're coming up with today, all that you're being given today is enough to break chains. The sword is cutting through chain. So anyway, those are the initial thoughts I have today. Oh, I did want to pick one from the Fairy Oracle. We're going to pick one from the Fairy Oracle, Vesper. Oh, look at you with your little pink lips. I love you. I love you. I do. All right, let's pick one from the Fairy Oracle. See what the fairies have to say. What do they have to say? What do they have to say? What do the fairies have to say to us today? Thank you, fairies, for joining us. Oh, fairies have a lot to say, but that's a lot of things to say, fairies. So let's pick just one. Okay, let's pick just one card, fairies. Maybe two. Oh my gosh, I told you the fairies were a lot today. This is hilarious. All right, we'll just pick one, fairies. Maybe two, but no more than two. I love the fairies. I know, I love the fairies too. I do. I love the fairies. And there, thank you, fairies. Ooh, dark moon. Maturation, growing up, introspection, know thyself. So things are ending. This is an invitation for you to, this is that essence of Pluto. Pluto is also rising from the ashes, right? It's a phoenix, transforms everything around. So some things maybe make you feel as though you're here. It's hard to maybe see and be in that place of abundance, to take that different perspective. Right, but I invite you to look at the dark parts of you. And this is also an invitation to look at the dark parts of you and integrate them, because there are parts, that we look at those dark things and we completely eschew them and put them to the side and ignore them. But what are the parts of you that actually are pretty mature, want to come out and be part of how you move forward? Those parts of you are valuable. Then we don't have to, oftentimes the dark parts of us come out in ways that are unskillful and hurtful to ourselves and others and situations around us. But when we're working with the King of Cups here to encourage those parts of ourselves to come out, we're actually integrating them. Cut the chains, let that person out. That's the part of you that is going to bring you into abundance. Look into the Akashic records today. The High Priestess is here, and that might mean that you have to move on. But you've got the message is clear. Move on into better. And I'm being told to look at the bottom of the deck. The fairy lovers. Hello, lovers card came up. I haven't read from this book for a while, and I don't think I've ever gotten this card myself. So fairy lovers, 4 and 6. There's your number 10, 10 of Swords. Something's got to end. Something's got to end for you to go completely into love with something else. And it's something that you're pushing aside and you're pretending actually isn't real. But it is. It's whatever is. There's something there that's where you're truly invested, where your passions are. You love courtship, romance, falling in love. New love can be stronger than the will to live. I also got the Maiden Magu in the Kuan Yin Tarot. There will soon be flirtatious, intoxicating interplay and a flurry of exquisite energetic activity between you and another. Whatever that another is, it's wherever you put your energy. Divinatory meaning. You are about to fall in love. It is most likely with a beautiful other with whom you will be spellbound. You will, or by whom you will be spellbound. Do not fear, they will love too. And the rapture that will come from this coming together will outweigh all the fear you have experienced or anticipate experiencing at its loss in the past. This love is new. So break the chains, move beyond your perceptions of what love is, create a new relationship with relationship. Being romanced and swept off your feet, you will find you and your love are both magical beings who respond best to being outdoors. Making love under the trees will help you stay in love and experience ecstatic union. Wild, free, deep, and true love is in bud. Oh, rapture. Oh, deepest and wildest choice. So, yeah, change your relationship with yourself, with anything you're investing yourself, and let that creativity out. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'll let what comes through the day germinate, and I will check back with you later at the end of the day on Instagram, and I'll put that link in the description so you can, I don't know, see what I saw and then comment about what you saw. Change your relationship with a relationship.